Welcome back in the lecture series of YouTube lectures on organic chemistry. Today we are to start with a new topic. The title is synthetic polymers. In BSc Part 3 CBCS syllabus for semester number 6, the paper is DSEF 8 and title of the paper is paper number 16 and title is industrial chemistry. So, in this paper there is unit number 3 which is of synthetic polymers. The workload allotted is of 8 lectures. In this topic we are to learn about introductory part about polymers, then classification of polymers. In classification, it is based upon origin, based upon composition, based upon method of preparation, based upon the general physical properties and chemical structure. So, these are the parameters on which the classification is to be studied. Then in the next part, we are to learn the process of polymerization, that is addition polymerization. In addition polymerization, we will consider free radical addition polymerization and ionic addition polymerization. We will write a note on Ziegler-Natta polymerization. Then some compounds are to be studied, that is methods of preparation and applications of organic polymers. In this we are to learn polyethylene, polystyrene, polyvinyl chloride, phenol formaldehyde resin, etc. Then the last part of the topic is conducting organic polymers. In this case, we are to learn synthesis and properties of polyaniline, polypyrrole and applications of conducting organic polymers. So, let us begin with the topic synthetic polymers. To start with, we must know what are polymers and then what are synthetic polymers. Polymers are natural or synthetic substances composed of a very large molecules which are called as macromolecules. So, the general idea or basic idea is polymers are large molecular weight compounds and these are having natural or synthetic origin. These are made from multiples of simpler chemical units and the simpler units are called as monomers. Means it is very clear that the building block of polymers are monomers. Monomers undergo some chemical transformation which is called as of course polymerization to get macromolecular compounds which are called as polymers. Polymers make up many of the materials in living organisms including proteins, cellulose and nucleic acids. These are natural polymers of course. So, I will repeat once again, polymers are macromolecules formed by reaction or polymerization of monomers. In other words, monomers are the building blocks of the synthetic polymers or in general polymers. The process by which monomers are transformed into polymer is called as polymerization. Polymer chemistry is the branch of chemistry that focuses or that deals with the chemical synthesis, structure and chemical and physical properties of polymers. Of course, these are macromolecules. These are the examples of polymers. Okay. In these examples, we see there are various monomers converted into polymers: ethylene vinyl acetate, polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrene, polyethylene glycol, polymethylene methacrylate and polyoxymethylene. So, these are the various examples. Of course, you should not remember all of these. In due course, we will learn these various polymers and you can remember those corresponding compounds. Then, in the process of polymerization, we get two kinds of polymerized compounds. One is called as homopolymer. A homopolymer is a polymer that is made up of only one type of monomeric unit. See carefully once again. A homopolymer is a polymer that is made up of only one type of monomeric units. For example, ethene is a monomer, so we get polyethene. So, these are the products of polyethene. Okay. So, it is homopolymer. Then polyvinyl chloride. So, this is vinyl chloride, it gets polymerized into polyvinyl chloride. Polyvinyl chloride is again a homopolymer. Polystyrene, it is made from styrene. Styrene undergoes polymerization and we get polystyrene. These are the products of polystyrene. So, it is again homopolymer. So, there is another polymer called as copolymer. A copolymer is a polymer derived from more than one species of monomers. So, more than one species of monomers, they undergo polymerization and it is called as heteropolymer or copolymer. The polymerization of monomers into copolymers is called as copolymerization, and copolymers obtained by copolymerization of two monomer species are sometimes also called as bipolymers. So, copolymers, if they are having two kinds of monomers, then it is biopolymer, and the other term is also heteropolymer, heteropolymerization or heteropolymers. So, this is about copolymers and homopolymers. Okay. This slide shows the general schematic presentation of homopolymer. Homopolymers contain only one kind of monomers, and copolymers or heteropolymers contain two or more than two kinds of monomers. So, this gives general idea regarding the structure. Then in copolymers there are different subtypes also, alternating, random, block copolymers. So, in general there are natural polymers which occur in nature and can be extracted. They are often water based. Examples of naturally occurring polymers are silk, wool, DNA, cellulose, proteins, etc. Vulcanized rubber is a synthetic and it is an important example of modified polymer. So, this gives the general outline. Now, when we consider various examples, there are natural and synthetic polymers. Natural polymers are made by living organisms, DNA, rubber, cellulose, wool, etc. And synthetic polymers are man made. These are nylon, polyester, Teflon, epoxy, etc. Now, let us consider the classification. As we have seen in the syllabus, we have to learn classification based upon some particular parameters. So, classification based upon origin is the first classification. It is the first type is natural polymers. The easiest way to classify polymers into their source of origin, considering their source of origin, natural polymers are polymers which occur in nature and are existing in natural sources like plants and animals. Some common examples are proteins, cellulose, starch, rubber, etc. So, natural polymers are having natural origin. These are the natural polymers made by living organisms once again, DNA, rubber, cellulose, wool. These are natural polymers. Then synthetic polymers. Synthetic polymers are polymers which humans can artificially create or synthesize in lab. These are commercially produced by industries for human necessities. Some commonly produced polymers which we use day to day life are polyethylene, then we use nylon also, nylon fibers. These are again modified into different articles. Okay. So, synthetic polymers, nylon, polyester, Teflon, epoxy. Then there is a third category which is called as semi-synthetic, in which the polymer is obtained from natural source and then it is converted or then it is modified as per the requirement. Semi-synthetic polymers are polymers obtained by making modifications in natural polymers artificially in the lab. Okay. These polymers formed by chemical reaction and are commercially important. For example, vulcanized rubber, it is natural rubber converted into vulcanized form by using sulfur crosslinks. So, cellulose acetate is also modified in the same fashion. So, we start from cellulose and convert it into cellulose acetate. So, this is rayon. Rayon is a man-made fiber. Rayon is prepared from cellulose and it is chemically processed. So, it is considered as synthetic semi-synthetic fiber. Okay. Then next classification is based upon composition. The composition is related to these two terms. One is organic, other is inorganic. An inorganic polymer is a polymer with a skeletal structure that does not include carbon atoms in the backbone. So, other than carbon, backbone is there. Polymers containing inorganic and organic compounds are sometimes called as hybrid polymers. Most of the so called inorganic polymers are hybrid polymers. One of the best examples is polydimethyl siloxane. So, inorganic polymers are having inorganic backbone instead of carbon. So, this is one example. Polysilane is another example. Polysilazanes is next example. So, these are the examples of inorganic polymers. Now, coming to organic polymers. Organic polymers are macromolecules composed of many repeating monomer units, and these units contain carbon skeleton. Both synthetic and natural polymers play a crucial role in everyday life. Polysaccharides, polypeptides and polynucleotides are the main types of biopolymers in living cells. Of course, we are to deal with polymers having organic origin. So, these are the examples of organic polymers: polysaccharides, polypeptides, polynucleotides. This slide shows two types of the polymers in a single image. So, carbon containing polymers are organic polymers, and the heteroatom containing polymers are inorganic polymers. Now, classification based upon the method of preparation. Polymers are prepared by two reactions, and these two methods define the two categories based upon the method of formation. One is addition polymerization. These type of polymers are formed by the repeated addition of monomeric units. The polymer is formed by polymerization of monomers with double or triple bonds. So, what is the idea? The idea is that the polymer is formed by addition reaction. Addition reaction is possible only when there is multiple bonding. The multiple bonding is either double or triple bond. That means unsaturated monomers undergo addition polymerization. Unsaturated monomers undergo addition polymerization because these have double or triple bond. In this process, there is no elimination of a small molecule like water or alcohol. There is no elimination. Okay. Addition polymers always have their empirical formula same as their monomers. This is the example. So, as there is no change in the major structure. So, monomers get converted into polymer only by addition. Therefore, the repeating units are arranged systematically and the empirical formula of monomer and polymer is remaining the same. So, these are the examples: polyvinyl chloride, addition polymerization; polypropylene, polystyrene. All of these are the examples of addition polymerization. Then second category is condensation polymer. Condensation polymers are obtained by condensation reaction. Of course, it is different from addition. What is the difference? These polymers are formed by the combination of monomers with the elimination of small molecules like water, alcohol, etc. So, in addition polymerization there was nothing eliminated. In condensation something is eliminated. Okay. The monomers in these types of condensation reactions are bifunctional. So, as to get undergo polymerization, the monomer has to be bifunctional, minimum bifunctional or trifunctional. Due to this bifunctional nature, they undergo condensation on both the ends and form the polymer. A common example is the polymerization of hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid. So, these two monomeric units are there. These undergo condensation polymerization to give nylon 66. We will see the details later on. So, where the molecule of water is eliminated in the process. So, addition polymerization and condensation are the two types. So, polyethylene terephthalate polyester, terephthalate, that is polyester. So, how it is formed? It is having ethylene glycol monomer and terephthalic acid as another monomer. So, these two monomers undergo the reaction. The reaction is condensation. During the condensation, molecule of water is eliminated and alternately these monomers are arranged. Okay. So, the repeating pattern is also given. So, this is one more example of such condensation polymer. It is a polyamide and it is polyester. Okay. So, condensation polymerization is observed in these cases also. Then there is a classification based upon general physical properties. The first category is elastomers. Elastomers are elastic polymers. So, elastomers are rubber like solid polymers that are elastic in nature. As I mentioned, these are elastic polymers. What is elasticity? Elasticity is the property whereby the article changes its shape when pressure is applied and it regains its shape when pressure is released. The most common example of this can be seen in rubber bands. Okay. By applying a little stress, the rubber band gets elongated. The polymer chains are held by the weakest intermolecular forces, hence allowing the polymer to be stretched. But as you notice, removing that stress also results in the rubber band taking up its original form. This happens as we introduce cross links between the polymer chains, which help it in retracting to its original position and taking its original form. Our car tires are made of vulcanized rubber. This is when we introduce sulfur in cross band and polymer chains. Means elastomers are elastic polymers. When we apply pressure, they change their shape. When we remove the pressure, they regain their original shape. This change in the shape or this behavior is because of the presence of cross links. So, elastic polymers are elastomers which have cross links, and due to presence of cross links, they regain their original size and shape after removing the pressure. Okay. So, this is the polymer molecule. When we stretch, it gets elongated. When we remove the pressure, it regains its original size. So, in this way, by considering the elasticity property, this class is there which are called as elastomers. Then there is a class called as thermoplastics. As the name suggests, it is related to temperature. Thermoplastic polymers are long chain polymers in which intermolecular forces, that are weak van der Waals forces, hold the polymeric chain together. These polymers, when heated, get softened and get hardened when they are allowed to cool down. Means thermoplastic can be remolded. When you heat, they get converted into fluid like mass, and when we cool again, they get converted into hard mass, again forming hard mass. They do not contain any cross bond and can easily be shaped by heating and using suitable molds. So, repeated reshaping, molding is possible with thermoplastics. A common example is polystyrene or polyvinyl chloride, which is used in making pipes. Okay. So, thermoplastics can be remolded by using temperature parameter. When heated, they get softened, they get hardened when we cool down them. So, elastic polymers, and second is thermoplastics. So, these are the examples of thermoplastics. Then the third category is thermosetting. The name suggests that they are observed to get settled down after heating. Thermosetting plastics are polymers which are semi-fluid. In earliest case, it was a viscous mass, semi-fluid in nature with low molecular masses. When heated, they start cross-linking. What is the behavior? The difference in thermoplastics and thermosetting is that in thermoplastics there is no cross-linkage. In thermosetting there is a cross-linkage which is created after heating, and they become hard and infeasible. And as they become hard and infeasible, they form a three-dimensional structure on the application of heat, and this reaction is irreversible. You cannot remold thermosetting polymers, and therefore, the most common example to understand this is bakelite, which is used in electrical appliances and several applications. So, these are the examples of thermosetting material which after heating they get particular shape, but you cannot remold them. So, elastic polymers, elastomers, thermoplastics and thermosetting compounds. Then the last category in this is fibers. In the classification of polymers, these are the class of polymers which are a thread like structure in nature and can easily be woven. They have strong intermolecular forces between the chains, giving them less elasticity and high tensile strength. So, these properties can be asked in the MCQ form. So, fibers have less elasticity. Fibers have less elasticity. Elastomers have maximum elasticity. Fibers have high tensile strength. The intermolecular force may be hydrogen bonds or dipole-dipole interaction. Fibers have sharp and high melting points. A common example is nylon 66, which is used in carpets and other articles. Okay, these are the examples of fibers. So, next classification is based upon the structure. When we consider the structure of the polymer molecules, there is the first form or first type is linear polymers. These polymers are similar in structure to a long straight chain which identical links are connected to each other. The monomers in these are linked together to form a long chain. These polymers have high melting points and are having higher density. Common example is PVC. This polymer is largely used in making electric cables and pipes. So, linear polymer. Then the polymer which is not linear but it has some branches. So, it is called as branch chain polymer. As the title describes, the structure of these polymers is like branches originating at random points from a single linear chain. Monomers join together to form a long straight chain with some branched chains at different lengths. As a result of these branches, the polymers are not closely packed together. They are low density compounds, low density polymers having low melting points, and low density polyethylene is the example. It is used for plastic bags and for general purposes. So, linear polymers are used for cables and pipes. Branched chain polymers are used for low density polyethylene and related products, that is plastic bags and related products. Then there is the third category which is called as cross linked or network polymers. In this type the polymers, that is the in this type of polymers, the monomers are linked together to form a three-dimensional network. In linear the molecule is linear, in cross linked in branched there are branches, and in cross linked there is a three-dimensional network, or it is also called as three-dimensional polymer. The monomers contain strong covalent bonds as they are composed of bifunctional and trifunctional structures in nature. These polymers are brittle and hard. Bakelite is the example of cross-linked polymer. So, this is linear polymer, this is branched polymer, this is cross-linked. The second set of figures are linear polymer, branched and cross-linked. So, branched are low density, cross-linked are rigid in nature. So, this makes the difference in their properties. So, this chart once again gives the same summary of these various polymeric compounds. So, let us revise once again the things together right from the beginning. So, let us begin with the concept of polymerization, concept of polymers. So, polymers are the compounds having a large number of monomer units. Polymers are macromolecules, the building blocks are called as monomers. Then when the process of getting polymers is called as polymerization, the branch of chemistry dealing with these polymers is called as polymer chemistry. Then polymers when made up of only one kind of monomers, these are homopolymers. PVC, polystyrene are the examples. Copolymers are the polymers which are made up of two or more kinds of monomers. This is the difference showing slide. Okay. And then there are again subtypes. Polymers can be natural, synthetic. Okay, let us see the difference. There are natural polymers having natural origin, synthetic polymers which are prepared in the lab and industry. Okay. Then there are several classifications. Natural polymers are having natural origin, synthetic polymers are prepared in the industry, Semi-synthetic are the natural polymers modified for their additional properties. Then based upon composition, we have inorganic polymers having backbone other than carbon, organic polymers having carbon backbone. Then based upon method of preparation, we have addition polymers. In addition polymerization, the compounds or monomers are having unsaturated double or triple bonds. There is no elimination and empirical formulae are same. In case of condensation polymers, the condensation is taking place between polyfunctional or minimum bifunctional compounds. So, there is elimination. Due to elimination, the empirical formula and of the product and empirical formula of the reactants, they differ. Okay. Then in this case, there is some elimination during the process of condensation. Then based upon physical properties, we have 4 categories. Elastic polymers are called as elastomers. Thermoplastics, they can be remolded repeatedly. Thermosettings cannot be remolded because they form infeasible mass after heating. And the last category is fibers. In the last method of classification, the polymers which are having linear structure are called as linear polymers. The polymers which are having branches are called as branch polymers. These are having low densities. And the third category is called as cross-linked polymers, which are brittle in nature. Example is bakelite. So, you go through these slides and prepare for writing the note on modes of classification, classification of polymers based upon different parameters, and also several MCQs can be designed out of this information. So, for the time being, let us start with let us stop here and let us begin the study of synthetic polymers from this introductory part and classification based upon different parameters. Thank you.